Hello, this is Tanika Nikia. Welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to do a video um, based on a topic of the field I'm in, education. So I'm in the education field, if you didn't know. And I recently watched a video. I forget the young lady's name, but she did a video on this topic. And I want to give my input. I have these conversations to a certain extent with my students. And yeah, let's get started. Is education still valuable? I know my answer, but I would like to know what is yours. Here are some sobering facts. 54% of American adults read below a sixth grade level, and nearly one in five read below a third grade level, according to the Policy Circle. In 2019, only 37% of 12th grade readers performed at or above the proficient level in reading, according to the nation's report card. And shockingly, 20% of college graduates have only basic quantitative literacy skills, according to the American Institutes for Research. We cannot ignore these numbers. But before I get into the meat and potatoes of today's video, I want to go towards the Bible and get the biblical value of learning. The Bible reminds us that an intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. Proverbs 18:15. In Proverbs 23:23, it says, "Buy the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom, instruction, and insight as well." This isn't about shopping for wisdom at a store. It's about prioritizing it, about holding fast to truth, knowledge, instruction, and understanding no matter what. In fact, these verses are most likely referring to God's wisdom, which is supremely different from mankind's wisdom. However, I am sure that God wants us to value education. Yes, education is important, but don't just invest in your academics or book smarts. Put weight on building your emotional intelligence, wisdom, and life skills. I'll say it again. Yes, education is important, but don't just invest in your academics or book smarts. Put weight on building your emotional intelligence, wisdom, and life skills. And remember, what you don't use, you lose. I tell my students and my team this all the time. What you don't use, you lose. As we age, our cognitive abilities can decline, but we have the power to keep our minds strong and active. Why education still matters? Education lays the groundwork. Education is where we learn basic principles and foundations. We learn how to problem solve, how to communicate. We learn how to organize our thoughts. And yes, I understand we are to learn these at home, but children spend a great deal of time at school, and this is where they learn too. And for some, they may not be learning these things at home. We might not use every math formula or science fact, but sometimes, randomly, in life, I find myself grateful for what I did learn as it pops up, whether it's helping my teen with his homework, tutoring a student, or doing something as simple as shopping smarter, or even cooking, or communicating with my writing or colleagues. So our education is important, and it still matters. Yes, our education system needs work, but slashing funding isn't the answer, and getting rid of the education department or the Department of Education is not the answer also. Education is where we learn to think critically, and that matters in every area of our lives. Education is one part of a future adult's foundation. I'll say that again. Education is one part of a future adult's foundation. Now let's go towards post-secondary. Post-secondary education is for everyone. You always hear, or maybe you hear, college isn't for everybody, right? Let's clear this up. A 4-year university may not be for everyone, and that's okay. But some form of post-secondary education is for everyone. Build your knowledge after high school. This is additional time you have to figure out. You have to figure out more who you are now as a budding adult. What career do you want to pursue? And yes, start early while in high school working this out. But in high school, you won't have everything figured out. And some of us adults still don't have some things figured out. And that's okay. But you should always be evolving, always thinking about your future, always trying to figure it out. And or to figure out if the career you have chosen is correct. That is a good time for being in college. You get to connect to others who may have the same interests, which is networking. You get to connect to others from different cultures and with different skills and talents, and to learn from them also. You get to explore professionally, build your critical thinking skills, hone your voice, and prepare for your future as well as your future career. College, trade schools, apprenticeships, certification programs are all post secondary. And these are all opportunities to grow, to discover yourself, to network, and to sharpen your skills. College, trade schools, apprenticeships, certification programs, these are all opportunities to grow, to discover yourself, to network, and to sharpen your skills. When I pursued my bachelor's, that was my goal. I didn't plan for a master's, and that's okay. But I'm still open to taking classes, workshops, or 6-week programs that build my skills. Lifelong learning matters. Education isn't just school, it's power. Education helps you break generational cycles, build confidence, learn to advocate for yourself, ask better questions, build a future, and remember, life isn't getting cheaper. The cost of living rises as we age. It's crucial to build skills and experience that match the life and salary we want. It's crucial to build skills and experience that match the life and salary we want. We need to reinforce basic skills. Our children are struggling. Y'all. Many with reading comprehension, critical thinking skills, motivation, and even handwriting. I struggle with reading comprehension too, and sometimes still do. So I had to learn to break stuff down and ask for help. And I still break stuff down and still ask for help. But this is bigger than individual struggles. It's a generational crisis. So we have to think hard and long about what we can do to build our children up in terms with their education, build their morale, help them find out what their motivation is, what they want in life, and to see the value and importance of education, and to build those critical thinking and problem solving skills and just basic life skills. Don't be fooled by the glamour of fame. I know the influencer lifestyle, YouTube and streaming seem glamorous, but please hear this. Everyone's success is different. And sometimes what we see is fabricated, and so we get to fantasizing a false reality. Secondly, don't let this pursuit be your only egg in your basket. And yes, pursue those dreams if God leads you but don't lose the value of knowledge. Sorry to say, but everyone wasn't meant to be famous and streamers, seriously. But if God leads you to pursue influencer, YouTube, just don't lose the value of knowledge. Keep evolving, keep growing, keep learning. God has called each of us to unique work. Some are called to serve, build, teach, manage, cook, clean, lead, parent, write, or heal. No matter what it is, do it with excellence and never stop learning. Even if you're waiting tables, learn from it. Develop people skills. Use that experience to grow, to lead, maybe even to teach others. Think, how can I be the best waiter and develop people skills? How can I eventually manage this restaurant or teach a people skills class on the side since I learned to do so and have experience with people? So think, how can my experience help others? How can I evolve this? Faith plus knowledge equal power. There are two things no one can ever take from you. And I've said this even in my bio on my website. There are two things no one can ever take from you. And that is your faith and your knowledge. And when we say education, let's go beyond school and think of it as knowledge, wisdom, and action. God wants you to learn, to grow, and to think critically. He wants you to live with purpose. Think about Jesus sitting in the synagogues and listening and learning for himself. God wants you to learn, to grow, and to think critically. He wants you to live with purpose. How to keep learning no matter where you are in life. Even if you never finished high school or didn't go to college, you can keep learning. Make a list of things you'd like to learn each year. A new language, a new dance, how to fix something around the house. Use free tools like Duolingo or YouTube for learning new skills. Read books regularly, even if it's a little each day. That's something that is on my to-do list for the summer, to get back into reading. Like, I used to love reading. I stayed in a book. But these past years, several years, it's been hard to finish a book, stay dedicated. And so I may have to mark out some time each day and commit to reading, even if I'm busy or not feeling like doing it, but commit to reading each day. Excuse me. Eat well and sleep enough to support your brain. In your current job, look for ways to improve or grow, see where you can make improvements or build your skills, and do so. This boosts your marketability, resume, and just your overall morale. It also keeps things fresh. Another thing to do is to not compare yourself to others. Grow based on your needs and goals. What do you want? What do you need? Evolve based on that. Stay aware of what's happening in the world. Be an observer and learn what's going on in the world. The world is much smaller than we think, but it is still one outside of the one we are in. The world is much smaller than we think, but it is still one outside of the one we are in. And lastly, look at the patterns in your life. What comes naturally to you? That may be your direction when it comes to choosing a career path. One pattern I noticed was loving to learn and teach, or educate, as I should say. And just education was a pattern, consistent pattern in my life. Writing was another consistent pattern, being creative. So look for the patterns. Being an encourager, people seeking me for advice and whatever. Just look for the patterns, pray about it, and see about what comes naturally to you. Excuse me. Final words. Be patient with yourself. Keep going. Stay connected. Build relationships. Stay teachable. Seek wisdom. Live on purpose. And pray for God's guidance and His wisdom. He will graciously help you to navigate and pivot. So yes, education is still valuable. But more than that knowledge is power. This is Tanika Nikia. I would love to have your thoughts below. Make sure you like, share, and comment. Have a great day. I'm out.